One of the first games that we'll be checking out today will be Outside the Cabin. And this is actually a visual novel, a visual graphic novel. So this is basically an early version of the game. This is just a demo content with a total time to read of like 15,000 words, so approximately 110 minutes. And they just released a new update, which is approximately 20 minutes. Content warning: there is profanity, explicit violence, mental instability, and self-harm themes in this game. So, again, there is profanity, explicit violence, mental instability, and self-harm in this game. But let's dive right into it. Our perception of the world around us is what lets us understand the rules we need to abide by or survive. This world, however, does not play by the rules of man. Should one seek out meaning in a world where mankind is destined to be deprived of such things? As I leave the cabin, I am met with blistering snow. It obscures my vision. My bag is quite heavy, but I don't let it bother me too much. I can still vaguely see the light of the sun in the distance, but something is wrong with it. In another direction, I can make out footprints leading into the forest. Far behind the cabin, I can vaguely hear a strange siren calling. Follow the direction of resource from it. Follow the direction of the sun. I trudge through the snow towards the light of the sun. I wonder why it shines so strangely today. An unusual hue descends upon the earth from a sun that looks as though it might just crack into 1,000 pieces one of these days. What might lay await beneath its shell? I wish I felt only curiosity and excitement at the thought. After trudging through the snow for a while, it seems as though the sun is slowly mending itself back together. I wonder if this was the first time such a thing happened. I've never heard of the sun shattering into pieces before. To think something as vital to our existence as the sun could simply break apart. It fills me with dread. I don't want to imagine what it's like to live in eternal darkness. How much would be left to understand of the world then? I keep marching forward for hours on end, the fragile sun giving me ample light, but a snow still obscuring most of my vision. Occasionally, I hear whispers through the snow, calling out for something, begging. Freezing cold bites into me. I hope that I can find some shelter from this snowstorm soon. A few more hours go by as I march through the cold. I see a cavern in the distance. I carefully approach it. From inside, I hear echoed screams. I go inside. The screams echo further and further into the distance. They beg me to follow them into the dark abyss. I feel a strong urge to oblige. I want to know what awaits me here. There are carvings on the walls, drawings, writings, prayers, and what can only be described as a transcribing of pure anguish onto stone. These are the carvings of crazed minds. Listening to the anguish cries beckoning me, I feel a deep mix of emotions wash over me. There are two paths that I can go down, one leading forward and another descending deeper into the cavern. Do we go forward or do we go into the depths? or do we carve our name into the stone? I would love to carve my name into the stone for a while. I start scribbling on the wall. I keep scribbling and scribbling away, seeing visions that my mind is unable to comprehend. I hear whispers in my ear. Okay, something's up. Ah, okay. Well, that was one part of it. It's a part of the demo. And then we go back and choose another um choose another option as we were scribbling on the stone earlier. We can choose another option. And I think it's either we move forward or we go through the depths. So far, so good. I love the ambience that I could hear right now. I can hear the snowstorm. Right. So, once again, the screams echo further and further into the distance. They beg me to follow them into the dark abyss. I feel a strong urge to oblige. I want to know what awaits me here. There are carvings on the walls, drawings, writings, prayers, and what can only be described as the transcribing of pure anguish onto stone. These are the carvings of crazed minds. Listening to the anguish cries beckoning me, I feel a deep mix of emotions wash over me. There are two paths that I can go down, one leading forward and another descending deeper into the cavern. I would love to go into the depths. I descend deeper and deeper into this strange cavern. There's a faint noise in the distance. I hear strange moans. It frightens me, but I don't want to go back. I must keep going forward. I reach the end of the tunnel leading into a space filled with many holes. Those holes are filled with writhing masses of flesh. Ooh. They whimper in pain and whisper in a language that I don't understand. I sneak past them, not letting myself be noticed. I'm not sure if they could even notice me in such a form. There's a path leading forward, and I sneak towards it. The flesh starts sobbing uncontrollably. Before I go down the path ahead, I take one last look behind me. A strand of flesh that is stretched all the way out of the hole touches my face. There's a gentleness to its caress. It recedes back into its hole, crying quietly. I back further away from it. I feel a tinge of pity. As I walk into the darkness, I feel the walls of the cavern with my hands. The organic, stony surface helps me to orientate myself through this dark. But suddenly, I feel a wall of a very different texture. Stone bricks lining up in front of me. Is there a human civilization within this accursed cavern? That can't possibly be the case, right? My eyes slowly readjust to the darkness. I can vaguely see the outline of an entrance and a sign that I can't read in this darkness. Echoes of strange language resonate from within the structure. I take a deep breath. The air is cold and humid, and I carefully invite myself into this place. Inside, many lanterns adorn the ancient walls. The structure is clearly inorganic, but it looks impossible for humans to build. So grand and bizarre, everything is far too big for human comfort. Whispers can be heard from afar. Maybe the residents have already noticed me. Will they welcome me warmly? I can only hope so. In the distance, a large colony of massive rats passes by. Oh no. One of the rats look at me. A big smile appears on its face. Okay. It continues down its path. The light of the lanterns flickers for a moment. I walk in the opposite direction of the rats. I don't want to come face to face with them. I can't predict what would happen if I did. Some strange, malformed beings hide behind the cracks of the walls, peering into me. I try not to let their stares get to me. I hear breathing from behind me, and I start running. After a while, I can't hear the breathing anymore. I look down at my feet. Words are scribbled on the floor in a language unfamiliar to me. Looking back up, they're all over the walls now, too. The words start changing. I can read them now. A great beast is looking for you. These words were repeated all around me. The light of the lanterns flickers intensely. A voice calls out to me from the distance. Come hither, fleshling. Sweet, sweet fleshling child. A shadow appears on the wall in the distance. Its shape is ever-changing, incomprehensible. I start running back the way I came from. Large, thin creatures of pure skin and bone lurk ahead. They await my arrival. As I approach them, they try to block my path. I merely manage to weave between them. My heart is beating through my chest. My breathing is heavy. I have trouble navigating here. The great halls stretch on without a seeming end in sight. Occasionally, massive doors open. Strange creatures of all kinds come spilling out. They look on inquisitively, but I do my best to avoid them. Starting to get exhausted. Once I reach a part of the structure with no living creature in sight, I collapse against the wall. I take some food out of my bag and eat it while keeping my guard up. I've completely lost track of time. I hope that I can find a safe place to sleep within the next few hours. I can't have myself collapsing in a strange place like this. I look above me. Ancient towers drawn upon the ceiling, of humans and beasts devouring one another. Is there another way out of here? I wonder. Am I going to die here, all alone? Why, of course. I was always going to die alone, wasn't I? This great beast will be your only companion in death. I stand back up. I must keep going. The lanterns flicker once more. This time from behind, a shadow approaches in the distance, ever so quietly. I start running, but it is futile. The great beast catches up to me. I see incomprehensible visions. I don't understand. Is this divinity? Alright. That is second choice that we have discovered throughout this demo. And now I suppose we can check out the first choice, like once we enter the cavern. which is where we go forward. The echoed screams continue from behind me, calling out to me. I ignored them as best as I could. The darkness is deep and discomforting. The cavern twists and turns unpredictably. As I travel further inside, I notice that there is moss growing on the walls of the cavern. The moss squirms around excitedly and illuminates the space around it. Watching it gives me the creeps. Bugs crawl across the moss. I hear streaming water in the distance. The sound calms my nerves ever so slightly. I continue down the path for a few hours. I arrive at strange open space full of life and fertility. Water flows freely between the moss under my feet. Strange trees riddled with holes or spread across the open space. All kinds of animals walk calmly across the moss. Insects and bugs crawl between every crevice. Plants grow uncontrollably. The animals don't seem to be excited by my presence. Occasionally, they eat some of the moss for sustenance. The moss squirms into their mouths. It seems that it is probably safe to eat the moss here. I'd rather starve and die, though. No, I only say that because I'm not starving. When push comes to shove, I do anything to survive. It's already been about half a day since I left from the cabin. I'm getting a little hungry, but I probably shouldn't take out my food. There's no telling how the animals in here might react. I look for a nice place to rest for a bit. I can't relax entirely as the moss occasionally tries to pull me under. After resting for a while, I hear a strange sound from above me. I look up. I can't see what it is. The animals start moving towards the center of the open space. They stand patiently in a circle. Something drops down from the ceiling. Oh. It is covered in some sort of plant-like membrane. It thrashes around and breaks out. It stands up. It's a moose. It looks straight at me. I get up and start walking. The moose keeps gazing into me. It eventually starts moving down the tunnel further into the cavern. Do we go into one of the trees or do we follow the moose? We follow the moose. The moose moves slowly ahead of me. It doesn't seem to mind my presence. I look behind me and see that the other animals are following the moose as well. Or are they following me? They keep their distance from me but lag behind carefully. The moss starts to grow dimmer. It grows completely dark. I can't see anything. The bugs are crawling up my legs. I see two eyes in the darkness. The moose looms over me. I can hear the other animals closing in. My heart starts to race. The moss starts to light up again, and the moose looks into my eyes for a little while longer. Eventually, it turns around and starts walking again. The other animals do nothing. They simply wait for me to move. My legs are shaking. I have trouble moving. Coward. She's supposed to be ready for this kind of thing. The world does not play by the rules of man. What kind of journey were you expecting? I started moving forward, and the animals stare at me with an uncanny ambivalence. I keep telling myself that I can ignore all kinds of unsettling strangeness, but I find myself being caught off guard every once in a while. The world always proves to me how powerless, small, and worthless I am. Will I ever overcome that fear? My body won't stop shivering. I keep following behind the moose for a while. It feels as if hours have passed, but I'm not sure. I feel uneasy and I can't calm down. I move through the strangest spaces. I arrive at a ravine with a tree stretched across it. Under the ravine is a network of trees leading into strange tunnels. The moose crosses the ravine. The animals behind me start twitching. The moose begins to stand on its hind legs. Its body changes. The moss grows dim again. It's completely dark. Do we stay still? Do we jump down? I stay still. I can hear the animals running towards me. They swarm around me and start eating away at my flesh. I scream out in agony, but no human soul could hear my screams down here. My eyes slowly adjust to darkness. A gaping mouth enters my vision. That was insane. Apparently the animals have eaten us on that part. But I love that. I love that part. It was interesting. I love the details around it, how the tension keeps building up. And I was really feeling uneasy while I was just following the moves. I don't even know why I wanted to follow the moves when I was already feeling this sort of uneasiness or anxiety throughout playing the game. And then I suppose, yeah, curiosity kills the cat, and I have taken myself into a direction where I am eaten by these animals, and I shouldn't have stayed still. I should have jumped down. But that is the ending of the part one of us checking out outside the cabin. So stay updated when we check out a part two of outside the cabin. Thank you very much.